Hello and welcome back to another episode from Driving Britain. Today's episode is a British person reacting to an American who's reacting to 11 common things that don't exist outside of the USA. Now he means more specifically the UK and Ireland here. Okay, let's jump right in and see what he's got to say.
Subscribers and viewers from the UK and Ireland may not see very often. Or in some cases, they may not even know exists because it may not even be in their country at all.
Chocolate chip cookies, dental floss, traffic lights, all great American inventions.
Dental floss, right?
These things originated in America but are now all over the world. But if you think that everything American is in every other country, then you'd be wrong. There are some things that you just don't see outside of the USA. I'm Charlie and today we're going to look at 11 common things that don't exist outside the USA. Before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. Coming up first, we have medical and lawyer ads. If you're not from the USA but have gone to visit, I'm sure you switched on the TV and heard this phrase. Ask your doctor if this product is right for you. And then, most likely, a big list of scary warnings and side effects. This is something that only happens in America and it's advertising for medical products. Outside the USA, it's weird to see commercials for medical related things. Most people would just go to their doctor and get what their doctor suggests. But in the USA, it's common to see medical things advertised as if they were any other product. But medical ads aren't the only odd advertising you'll see in.
But if you saw something advertised, I don't know, antidepressants or something, you thought, oh, actually, I think I fancy a couple of those. And you still got to go to a doctor to actually get them. It's not like you can just pop to the pharmacy and get them, or can you? So, I suppose it gives you ideas on what to ask the doctor for.
In the USA. Another thing you'll often see is adverts for lawyers.
Oh yeah.
I'm not talking about Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad. Believe it or not, that's not just in TV shows. In the USA, lawyers really do advertise on TV. Did you know that 60% of the world's lawyers reside in the USA? And the USA is said to be the most litigious country in the world. This means the most lawsuits come from inside the USA.
Yeah, that's a problem we have. The pharmaceutical industry is constantly promoting their products, always. It's like, why? If someone's got an issue, they're probably going to go check it out with a doctor or something, right? Like if you got some kind of serious medical issue, and then you can talk with the doctor about what they might want to prescribe you or something. It just doesn't even make sense. It's just such big business, And I didn't know the lawyer thing.
Yeah, I would have thought that. Well, like I said earlier, you might see something advertised, but you can't get hold of it just by going to a shop or pharmacy. So you still got to go to the doctor. So what's the point of spending all that money on advertising? Or is it literally just so that people know what to ask for when they go to the doctor?
Was nowhere else. That's interesting. But yeah, there's lawyer ads everywhere. I don't know if you guys in the UK or Ireland have billboards, showing lawyers. But yeah, we absolutely have billboards as well that...
No, we don't have anything like that. We've got billboards, but they're advertising, normal stuff, cars, shops, general things, not medicine, not lawyers or solicitors, whatever you want to call them, or vultures, as some people might call them, by the way that they're advertising on your TV by the sound of it. We just don't get that. If you need a lawyer for something, then you look up ones in your local area that are specialising in whatever it is that you want to, that you need a lawyer for. But they wouldn't advertise. You'd have to search them out.
On the highways that show lawyer ads and stuff. It's insane. It really is.
Next up is spray cheese. When you think of cheese, you probably think France. Luxurious French cheese is a staple of fine dining around the world. But the USA has a different kind of dairy-based delicacy. That is spray cheese. Cheese is eaten a lot in the USA. In fact, the USA is the world's largest consumer of cheese. But America also loves convenience, and that's why cheese can be bought in a can in the USA.
Yeah, in the UK, we've got something that comes out of a tin like that, and it's called fake cream. But cheese? No, that's just an American thing.
Now, spray cheese is actually only 51% cheese. By law, to call a product what it is, it must be at least half that product. So that's why it's only 51% cheese, not a percentage higher. The other 49% is flavorings, protein, and ingredients.
Hold on. 49% is flavourings. Well, we all cook food and we all add flavourings, but it never makes up 49% of the product that we're cooking. That just looks like not a good idea. What does it taste like though? Does it taste really nice? I suppose if it tastes really nice then maybe, but I'm not sold so far.
Spray cheese has been big in the USA since the 1960s, and it's even sold in various flavors. For example, cheddar, bacon, and even American flavor. I wonder what that is.
Yeah, I do not eat that stuff. So I don't know why people eat that stuff. It's disgusting. I literally don't get it. I think it's probably kind of like, what was that stuff in the UK? Vegemite? Is it Vegemite? I know there's one in Australia that is something.
Vegemite is the Australian version. Marmite is the UK version. Marmite's beef extract. Vegemite, not beef extract.
And there's one in the UK that was sort of that similar type of deal that you spread this stuff on bread, and it's a very, it's something that it's an acquired taste. I think spray cheese is probably that. It's an acquired taste.
Next up is garbage
disposals. What?
Well, I'm sure you've seen in movies and TV shows how Americans throw their food scraps into the sink. You may think, what happens to them? Do they just sit there? Well, no, they go into what's called a garbage disposal.
Yeah.
These things actually only exist in the USA.
What?
In other countries, food scraps would be put in the kitchen bin. But why is it that only in America do they use garbage disposals?
Because they found another thing to sell you. I'm not sure how they work. I don't know what happens afterwards. Does it all just go straight down the drain? If it doesn't, then it means you've got a real horrible soggy mess to empty out. But no, if you've got leftover stuff on the plate, food, you put it in a bin, not down the sink. It will just clog up your drains. But I guess that if you make it pretty much purified with that, then maybe not. But you still got all the fats and stuff in there. No matter what you cook, there's still going to be fats and things that are going to go back to being solids again.
Well, the reason why is because in many other countries it's banned. This is because it's not very environmentally friendly. That's because all of the food is mixed in with the general water waste.
Definitely.
This then at some point must be filtered out. So it wastes a lot of energy, but it is convenient.
I didn't know that. You guys don't have garbage disposals. Wow. Let's see. I mean, I've lived in houses before that don't have garbage disposals, but I can't think of the last time I didn't have a garbage disposal. Generally speaking, I don't just go and throw crazy amounts of stuff down the drain. It's very convenient though. Like if you have small amounts of food that you're rinsing off and stuff, you can rinse all that stuff down the drain, and it's just I don't know. I mean, I guess that may not be environmentally friendly now that I think about it. I don't know. I hadn't really looked into it, but.
Yeah, but it doesn't really take that much just to scrape whatever's on the plate into the bin, which is usually somewhere pretty close to the sink. Or at least not exactly, it's not like you've got to go to a different room to empty off the plate. But I can't see pushing all the stuff that we would normally throw away, any extras or bits that's left over, pushing it down the sink. That seems quite bizarre to us. Not just because of the environmental part, but because of just potentially blocking up your pipes. Oh well, sounds like an easier way to do it though.
It's something that pretty much most houses have. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Next up is college sports. Every country loves sports. Whether it's cricket in India, football in Spain, or baseball in the USA. But only in the USA are they obsessed with college sports. Every country loves professional sport leagues, and the USA is no exception. But one thing that's different about the USA is that they love college sports as much as regular professional sports. No other country gets behind colleges as much as the USA does. If you ask people in other countries if they can name a college team of any other sport, chances are they can't.
Wow, really?
In other countries...
Yeah, it's only actually through watching these types of videos that I'm even aware that you have televised college sports. I know that you have college sports. I know that That's kind of like the forerunner before where people are going to get picked up to be put onto the bigger teams kind of after college. But you putting them on TV, I don't know, that's like us. There is no example that I can give from what we do in the UK. There's gymnastic competitions and things like that, but I don't think it's quite like what he's describing. In fact, from the other video that I saw a while ago, they were saying that they only really watch the college sports rather than the main games, and they're not alone. That's a pretty common thing. So that, I don't know, it just seems a bit weird to us.
And not broadcast on TV. And they also don't make any money at all.
Wow.
As opposed to the millions made in US college sports.
That's interesting.
In the USA, college football brings in
students playing football for the college sports. Basically playing football for your college or university, or playing rugby for our equivalent, I guess, or football. They're getting paid. They're getting paid TV sort of money, or major league sort of money. Why they're still at school and college just for playing sports? Now that seems really bizarre to us.
thousands of spectators to fill up stadiums.
Yeah.
But in other countries, college football games are lucky if they even get the friends and family of the people involved watching.
Yeah.
Really?
Also, the biggest stadiums in the USA are pretty much all college football stadiums. Out of the top 15 biggest stadiums in the USA, all 15 are college football stadiums. The
That's
largest
surprising.
of which being the Michigan Stadium, which can hold over 100,000 fans. Next.
Wait. You guys don't do college sports, really? That's so interesting to me, because here college sports are huge. I'd say college sports in a lot of ways are bigger than professional sports. Like for me, for example,
Yeah, I've heard that.
My favorite sport is basketball, but I don't keep up with professional basketball at all. I only keep up with my college team. So like that's so weird to me. I mean, I guess you guys on the other end think it's weird that college sports are so big here, but I think I know a reason why that could be, and that's simply because you go through large, like hundreds of miles in a lot of cases in the U.S. without a professional sports team. But you have colleges all over the place. So college sports, tended to be where people, go celebrate, go congregate and watch sports. In the UK and Ireland, for example, and in a lot of other countries, the countries are kind of smaller. So they're kind of, so your professional teams are maybe easier to access. That's the only reason I could think of that. But I don't even really.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good point, isn't it? I don't think it's just so much that it's been commercialized and sold to America, just as a big money revenue for the people that's involved, and the media groups, the sports groups, the stadiums, the college universities that's running the teams. They're all going to be making quite a lot of money. So I guess that they're going to be publicizing it and pushing it as much as they can for those reasons. But that I guess if you want to follow sports, but you have pretty much the equivalent of nothing in your area because everything's so spread out, then it is kind of more reasonable that you're just going to go to watch whatever sports you can kind of get hold of, I guess. And if that turns out to be the college sports, which has been made out and presented just like normal major league sports, then I suppose it makes sense, really, doesn't it?
Really keep up with professional sports. The only sports I really keep up with are college, generally speaking. I do watch the occasional professional sport. I'm not against it, but it's just college sports are so much more exciting to me. They're just, I don't know. I can't explain it. Just like if I watch the NBA professional basketball, that's not exciting at all. But college ball is so much more exciting. I don't know. Anyways,
I would have expected that to be the other way around. I suppose if the people are a bit younger, then maybe a bit more athletic. But I would think that people in the major league type stuff would be pretty athletic as well, because otherwise they wouldn't be on the team. So I wonder why it's more exciting to watch the college sports rather than the major league or whatever the term is for the not college sport versions.
that's interesting.
Next up is white teeth. Have you ever wondered why all Americans seem to have great white teeth? It seems for some reason people in the USA are obsessed with getting the perfect teeth. And by perfect, I mean white and straight. Americans actually spend more money than any other country to make sure their teeth are white and straight. But despite all the money that's spent on getting white and straight teeth, that does not necessarily mean they're more healthy. For example, the British are often mocked for their bad teeth. But according to a Harvard University study, British teeth are actually more healthy than American teeth. Trust me, not all Brits look like Austin Powers.
Doesn't surprise me, honestly.
One reason why this may be is because in the UK, under 18s can get braces for free. However, in America, they're very expensive, and there's a good reason for that. According to a study by New York Mag in the USA, good teeth can be the difference between getting a second date and not. Apparently, 38% of Americans will turn someone down for a second date if they have bad teeth. And 60% of Americans say they perceive someone as smarter if they have straight white teeth.
Smart.
I mean, I think we all want decent teeth, right? But like, I've never been all into like, oh, I got to go and get my teeth whitened or something. That just, I don't know. That doesn't exist in my world. I know people that do that, and their teeth are so white, you almost have to put sunglasses on because they're so bright. And it's just like, wow, man, that is so unnatural. But I mean, to each their own. To me, though, I'm like, I won't ever whiten my teeth. I don't really, do things that stain my teeth up that much or anything. So, but I definitely, I need to go to the dentist. It really is extremely expensive. So a lot of us don't go that often. I don't really know how that is in the UK or Ireland. I've heard that I was told that it wasn't part of the NHS, but I was told it wasn't nearly as expensive as it is in the US.
Well, for the dentist in the UK, if you can't afford to go, you're not working and stuff, there are price caps. So that, I think it's £200 or £300, something like that. That's your maximum that you'll pay for whatever work is being done. Even on private dentists, it's still much cheaper than the prices that you seem to be paying in the US. Also, I think that people in the UK do try to make sure that their teeth are reasonably white. So, if you have got stained teeth because you're a smoker or something like that, then you're more likely to use some sort of treatment to reverse that. But most people would have fairly naturally white teeth anyway, provided their teeth are generally healthy. For teeth straightening, then that's something more that you'd kind of set about when you was younger. And like you said, braces and stuff like that, you're going to get that free because of your age. But if you wanted cosmetic work done when you're older because you just didn't do it, or you used to neglect your teeth but then changed your mind or something like that, then it depends on your financial status. But even if you're paying full cost, unless you're going to, somewhere quite nice and expensive, go to Harley Street or something, then you're going to be paying a lot more money. But if you just go to a regular dentist, then you're going to get reasonably all right sort of prices, or at least compared to the US. But people in the UK do bleach their teeth as well. It is, especially if you're on television or in some way in the public limelight. But it's not really anywhere near as popular in the UK as what it is in the US. And the extra white newsreader sort of teeth that you regularly see on American TV, it almost looks almost silly because they're too white. It really does look like they've just Tipp-Ex them. Tipp-Ex is the stuff that you put on your ink writing to blot out a word, to rewrite over the top of it. Don't know what you call that in the US.
Here, man, it's insane. Like, if you need like a crown or something, I mean, you're probably talking to the average dentist $1,500, $2,000 just for a crown. I don't know how that would compare to the,
£50 to £100 or something for general sort of work. Crowns might go up to a couple of £100, but you're talking hundreds, not thousands or anything like that. But if anybody listening in the UK has got an up-to-date idea, they've had some work done, then add it to the comment section so that everybody knows.
To the UK or Ireland. I believe people probably spend a lot of money here on that, because a lot of people are really into the really white teeth thing. So, anyways.
Next up is Black Friday. If you're not from the USA, you may not understand why everyone goes so crazy on this day every single year. Black Friday is the name given to the day after Thanksgiving, which is another American holiday. The term Black Friday came about because of the amount of accidents and sometimes even violence shoppers create.
Oh my goodness.
People go crazy for all the deals in the stores, and sometimes there are riots just to get into a shop. Black Friday has expanded to other countries, for example the UK, but videos of Black Friday in other countries have gone viral for different reasons. That's because no one really cares about Black Friday in other countries, and shops often only get 1 or 2 extra visitors than on a normal day. Billions of dollars are spent in the USA every time Black Friday rolls around, but it seems the rest of the world just isn't into it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it can be absolutely insane. I don't do Black Friday, whatever. Like, I have some years I've been planning on purchasing something. So for example, if say it was like September and I was going to buy a new TV. It's like I need a new TV or something. We actually did this when we came back from overseas. We didn't have any furniture or anything. So we were like, we need a new TV. And it was like October. And I was like, well, we should just wait till Black Friday because then it'll be on sale. So we did. We went and bought a TV and saved got it off for like half off. But generally speaking, I don't just go and shop to shop. I only buy things.
Yeah, in the UK, we do have Black Friday deals and stuff like that. And the sales come up, especially being promoted by Amazon at the moment, which is obviously an American company, so you kind of expect that. But all of the shops do the Black Friday stuff, but it's not that big a deal. You're not going to not buy something until Black Friday, unless it's an exceptionally big purchase and you know full well that it is going to be massively reduced or something. But on average, it's just a little bit off. It's if we had huge discounts, like 30-40% off stuff, and you're going to buy yourself a new computer or something, then it might be worth it. But it's just nowhere near as big in the UK as the US. So I think that there's not really the motivation by the shops and companies to reduce the prices to perhaps the amount that you see in the US. But I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe you don't actually get that much off the price in the US. It's just that it's such a popular, well-known thing that you just kind of aim for it regardless.
Things if I need it. But some people, they go do this and they get violent. If you look up Black Friday on YouTube, you'll see like people up there fist fighting and beating each other up over electronic stuff. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. People are far too into their consumerism. Like I said, I get if you're already planning on buying something and you can wait a month and you can get it for half off, like, yeah, that's just a smart thing to do. But just...
Yeah, we wouldn't get half off. We'd get, like 10% or maybe 15%. Certainly wouldn't be anywhere close to 50%. I don't know if that's the same in other countries, around Europe and stuff. But I know that in the UK, Black Friday deals basically mean 10-20% off maybe.
Just to go and buy a bunch of stuff because it's on sale, it's just kind of weird. But anyways, yeah, I don't participate in Black Friday generally, so it's not something I'm worried about.
Next up is Solo Cups.
Solo Cups.
If you're American, this may come as a surprise.
Red Solo.
Red Solo Cups are seen as a very American thing. In movies and TV shows, everyone drinks out of them at parties.
Yeah.
And many tourists actually bring back a red Solo Cup.
Yeah, I've seen those on the movies, but I just thought that they was just using the cheapest average brand of cup that you get, so that they're not advertising a company. I didn't realise it's an actual kind of branding thing.
Cup to their own countries when going to America.
Really?
That's because it's seen as a piece of American iconography.
Really?
Many Americans don't realise this.
No.
In other countries, people simply drink from beer bottles or glasses, but in the USA, they use red plastic Solo Cups.
The tourists would bring the cup home with them. Really?
Yeah, it's like if you're at like a tailgating event or some sort of party and there's a keg, that people are tapping beer, or it might just be soft drinks. So like if you're at a birthday party and you got, there's a bunch of Coca-Colas or tea or whatever it is, you've got 100 people at this party or this big cookout or event. Instead of, risking a bunch of glass mugs getting broke or something, it's just like, it's a very cheap way to and convenient way because you don't have to wash them as things. So that's interesting. I did not know that was something that was just exclusive to the U.S. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have those types of cups, and we do use them for picnic, barbecue, things like that. It's just that from the way that was being said, you have the particular branding of that red cup, whereas we just use whatever cheap cup there is, which are usually clear plastic or white plastic cups, but they're not a particular one. It's just dozens of different cheap brands.
Next up is free refills.
Really?
When I was dining in the USA once, a waiter came up to me and said, "Would you like me to refill your drink?" I said no because the drink was kind of expensive, and they looked at me like I was crazy. That's because it is typical in any American restaurant to have a free refill. In other countries, you need to pay if you wanted extra drink, but not in the USA.
Yeah.
In other countries, if you pay for one drink, that's what you get.
Yeah.
And many Europeans say that they find it very weird when they go to the USA and their glass gets refilled, even if they don't ask. But personally, I love it. I'm never going to turn down a free drink.
Wait, that's not a thing in other countries? Especially I'm reacting on the channel to UK and Ireland, so that's mainly the areas I'm trying to understand that these things don't exist in. But free refills, I honestly can't remember if when I went to when I lived in Asia for that short period of time, if they gave free refills. I don't even know. I can't remember. But I can't really imagine going to a restaurant and not getting a free refill. That would be kind of interesting to me. And granted,
you won't get free refills. Some pubs and stuff do for if you have meals with the soft drinks, pop, soda, whatever you want to call it. You can sometimes get free refills with that. Usually, if there's going to be a free refill, it's because they charge you extra for the drink in the first place. But normally, if you buy a drink, then that's what you bought, a drink. But it is hard for us to understand why you would get free refills. If you went to a restaurant and ordered a burger, when you finished eating it, you wouldn't expect them to dump another one in front of you just because you'd finished it. So we don't really see why you would do that with a drink. But at the same time, maybe you're paying more for the drink in the first place, which is why it's kind of expected.
I don't really drink a lot of soft drinks, so it's really not that big a deal. And I'm guessing anywhere you go, water refills are probably free for the most part. But say, for example, if you drink tea in the U.S., you're going to get that free refills, as many as you want. You could sit there. In most restaurants, you could sit there for hours and hours and drink, glass after glass of tea or soft drink or coffee. Sometimes juice. Juice is one of those things a lot of times you're not going to get free refills on. Also, alcoholic.
Yeah, you wouldn't get free refill on, say, orange juice or apple juice or pineapple juice or something like that. It really is things like Coke, Pepsi, Tango. Your normal generic soda, pop type stuff. And even then, you are going to pay extra to become eligible for it. The only different exception is Asda stores used to, I don't know that they still do it, but they used to do a free coffee refill if you bought a meal or a breakfast, knowing that people would probably take two at the most, so it didn't really matter. They was making so much off the food that giving away an extra coffee really didn't matter.
Beverages, you're generally probably not going to get free refills on.
Yeah, that reminds me. Drinks in the UK, tea in the UK, it's not Earl Grey. We do drink Earl Grey as well now and again, but the normal black tea that we drink, where we put milk in it, that's because it's a different type of tea to Earl Grey. It's a much stronger tea. Things like Yorkshire tea or Tetley tea, PG Tips, these are all brands of tea that are more similar to coffee than what they are Earl Grey. That's why we put milk in them. And we don't have them cold, we have them hot, because that's how you drink tea.
It's mostly the soft drinks, tea, coffee, things like that.
And finally on the list, we have flags. Every country has their flag, but no one shows off their flag more than the USA.
I know that, that's true.
If you drive around the USA, it's common to see people flying the American flag on their homes.
Absolutely.
Also, many buildings, schools, and businesses will have an American flag.
Yep.
This is something you don't see in any other country. According to
Really?
research,
I know
over 150 million American flags are sold every year. And it's not exactly known why people in the USA love to show their flag off so much. Worldwide, the USA flag is the second most famous flag after the Union Jack.
Yeah.
But no other country waves their flag as much as they do in the USA. Vote in the poll in the top right corner the most interesting common thing.
Yeah, but I think that the UK flag being so popular around the world and still being on so many other flags, I think it's because we had a bit of a history for visiting countries and not going home again. Instead of taking a suitcase, we took an armada. So it means that we did end up visiting for quite a long time, quite a lot of countries. So yeah, we've got a flag on a lot of places, but in the UK itself, then churches and state buildings, stuff like that, they would most probably fly the flag. But houses, generally, we don't, unless there's something specific going on, a football match, or I don't know, a national day or something like that. But in the US, we see all the time on TV and just through media that you pretty much have flags out all of the time, and it looks more like it's been used almost as a comfort blanket rather than a flag, because we see you with it so much. But I think it's just because it's such a traditional thing in the US. The other thing is, and especially more so over the past 3, 4, 5 years, if you see a house waving a UK flag, then that person's being almost stigmatized to then be seen as a more right-wing person. So more like Trump or Bush, I guess, in your country. Whereas, they're just being patriotic towards the country. They're not showing a political allegiance towards left or right. They're just flying the flag because it's their country's flag. But in a bit of a bid to quash right-wing movements, the government and the media started to put a bit of a spin on it. So now people are almost tarnished for flying the flag of the country. So I think that I'd much prefer it to be like the US, where you can freely fly your flag without being seen to be doing something political left or right. You just be national to your country, than the way it's turned out in the UK. So I don't know that it's such a bad thing that they might almost seem like comfort blankets because they're out so often. But at the same time, I think that that's much better than not flying the flag and being proud of the country that you're from, because you should, and you shouldn't have to justify any politics or be labelled with left or right politics just because you want to, show solidarity for your own country. You shouldn't have to wait for a football match or St David's Day, St George's Day, or whatever's going on at the time. You should just be able to do it if you want to. But it's quite stigmatised in the UK to do that. So I think that we have it wrong and you have it right, not the other way around.
That doesn't exist outside the USA. I think it's spray cheese, as I'd really like to try that someday. If you guys want some more amazing videos,
I thought that was really interesting. I definitely learned a number of new things that I did not know. Now, if you are in the UK or Ireland, can you please let me know in the comments if any of these were actually wrong in your area? Because even in...
We don't have spray cheese, that's for sure.
Even if in the whole of a nation, it may not people may not know these things exist. There might be small pockets of places that some of these things might exist. I don't know. Like, for example, you might go into some small town in England that may actually, some restaurants may get free refills for all I know. I don't know. I'm just curious.
There are some American products coming through to the UK through stores like Aldi stores. In fact, I was in an Aldi store recently and there was something on the shelf and it was advertised as, it wasn't peanut butter, it was advertised as nut butter or something like that. And it was like condensed milk, which is like a very fatty milk, not like what you put in a coffee. It's more like what you would have to spoon out of a tin. It's really, really heavy in sugar. And this butter stuff was like that, but with a bit of a nutty taste. And it wasn't advertised as peanut butter, it was just advertised as nut butter. It says for spreading on toast or used in cooking. So there are some stuff like that comes across, but if that's anything to go by, then I think that probably a lot of US products might just be too sweet for the UK market.
these things exclusively exist only in America, and they don't exist at all anywhere else? Like, can you not go to any store in the UK or Ireland and grab sprayed cheese off the can? Is that impossible to do? But for me, the flag...
Actually, we do kind of have a version of that with that Promella cheese. It's not sprayed cheese, but you can kind of squirt it out of a tub, well, out of a tube, like a toothpaste tube. And I'm not sure how much actual cheese is in that. Is it Perella or Promella? Something similar to that. Someone add it to the comment section what it's called. I know that you can get like a ham flavour, and it sounds pretty similar to his spray cheese, thinking about it, except the spray cheese seems to be closer to what we would class as, a fake artificial spray cream. But I guess if you had that, a mix between the two, then maybe that's what the spray cheese is like. If anybody outside of the US has tried the US spray cheese, what does it taste like? Because 49% of it is flavourings. How you can amount 49% of a product to flavourings, I'm not sure. But that is what's in that tin. So I'm a bit intrigued as to what it actually comes out like.
That was one that definitely did surprise me. I already knew that. I've learned a lot about the difference in patriotism with the UK and Ireland versus America. And I'd say that the UK, I haven't really so much seen it as much in Ireland yet. I want to look, learn more about the Irish patriotism and stuff. But in the UK especially, I would say the UK is just as patriotic. They just show it in different ways. They don't outwardly show it with like flags on a consistent basis and things like that. It's more of like when they are feeling patriotic, it's over the top, like a bit.
Yeah, but like I say, though, it's because the government and media have almost stigmatized people waving the national flag, which I think is just disgusting. That's just outrageous that should happen. And it's just done as a cheap cure to try and bring people back towards the centre or left on the political sort of spectrum, when people flying the flag aren't particularly left or right or anything. They're not even thinking about which government party or any other policy. It's just about showing national identity. So I think it's a really, really bad thing. But the times when it's seen as kind of okay to show your flag is when there's big things going on, like the World Cup football match and things like that, and then it's kind of the government almost say, "Oh, well, you're allowed to now," or the media say, "Oh, well, we won't victimise you because you're flying the national flag." Now, I might be being a bit harsh with saying this. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just my interpretation of it, but that is how it seems. Anybody else that thinks yes or no to that, then add it to the comment section. Be interesting to see what everybody else thinks about that, especially people in the UK.
Big celebration, kind of like the last night of the proms. That type of thing, that amount of patriotism it's really awesome. I love that. But I don't know why in America everybody has flags everywhere and stuff. It doesn't bother me. I don't really care one way or the other. I'm glad that people, wherever you live, I'm glad that I want people to love their countries, no matter where they're at. I think every person, every group of people in every nation should be patriotic to some extent.
Yeah, definitely.
As long as your patriotism isn't hurting anybody else, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, obviously.
But what would I say? The free refills, that's a little shocking. The solo cup, that was really shocking to me. I'm like, people actually come and take those back home as kind of a souvenir. That's interesting.
Yeah, that seems just bizarre.
Black Friday, I kind of figured that was mostly an American thing anyway, because it has so much to do with our Thanksgiving. But that doesn't really shock me too much. The white teeth thing, I don't know. College sports, that kind of shocks me. That
I think another thing with the whole white teeth thing is that it was used in America as a way to force more Americans to spend more getting their teeth brightened, because it was almost seen as, oh, if you don't come and pay thousands of pounds and have your teeth made like your local newsreader, then you're going to end up with these horrible teeth. And look what's happened in Britain because they have horrible teeth. And look, whereas what they did, they just looked for as many people with horrendous teeth, which I'm sure every country is going to have at least a few hundred people like that spread around the country, but they just sort those people out, shoved them on camera, and tried to make out that that was the population as like a way to, like a fear tactic. Come and buy our product, or you're going to be like this, when this didn't even exist in the first place. So I think that it's a bit of a misnomer about the UK and teeth. It's just sales companies and the companies selling the products using well, I guess cheap tactics to try to push their product one way or the other.
That you guys may not really pay much attention to college sports. That's just interesting to me. But again, like I said, I believe you guys are probably thinking that's really weird or interesting that I would focus so much.
Yeah, the nearest that I can kind of relate with college sports is, say, if you're going to play, rugby's quite a popular one, I guess. If you're going to play rugby for your school or college, then you'll end up with the parents of the people turning up, and it's going to be in a field like what you'll have at your local park when you go down as kids to play football or soccer. That's the sort of pitch that you're going to be on. It's going to be a full-size pitch, but it's not going to be anything special. You're not going to have stand seats around. People are just going to stand around the field, freezing cold, with a hot drink in hand, watching whoever's playing football or rugby play until they can show that they've stood there and supported them, and they can go back home again. That's pretty much the extent of it in the UK, unless it's a match between another area or something. Then it's a bit different. But the comparison between your sort of sports for the college and school sports compared to the UK, there's just no comparison. Our college sports just doesn't have a scale in the US. It's not like I can say, when you're in infant school, the way that you might turn up for your little league or something, because even your little league is almost as big as our national games. So I don't know. I don't know if this is just the UK. Other countries around Europe and stuff, if you add to the comment section what it's like in your country, Norway, Sweden, I'm not really sure what you do for your kind of national sports in those sort of regions. I know that, like, at the moment, you're probably down to what seems like about 6 hours of daylight at the moment for winter, but during the summer months, you're pretty much the same temperature as here in the UK, and at times a little bit warmer, I think. So I would think that your sports, especially outdoor sports, would be pretty similar. Add to the comment section what it is that you do and don't do, how it's limited, and how it's kind of sold in your countries. Are you like the UK, where you attend as parents because you kind of feel that you have to, rather than because you really want to go? Or is it like America, where it's a massive industry, bigger than the main national games, international games?
Much more on college sports than professional sports, but I don't know. It's just, I've always been like that. The college sports have always been so much more important to me than professional sports. I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't really have any professional sports teams near me. The closest one was maybe
Yeah, I guess the other difference is the cheerleaders as well. We don't really have cheerleaders. If you go to a football match, you don't get cheerleaders come on. You don't get somebody sing a song at the beginning. If you go to a rugby match, you're not going to get cheerleaders turn up and do anything to start with. At school, cheerleading is becoming like a national sport, and at college, the same as it is in the US, because it's becoming an international competition. So that's almost like basketball, rugby, football, soccer, whatever you want to call them. So that's becoming a sport of its own, just like gymnastics is international. But you wouldn't have a gymnast turn up to a football match any more than what you'll have a cheerleader turn up in the UK. That would seem quite weird. And if it was a main football game, like Aston Villa or Manchester United or someone like that playing, and then you had a load of college age cheerleaders turn up to start the game, that would seem quite weird as well. But that's because it's something that we've never done. So I'm not really sure if that's something that's different in other countries and around Europe and stuff. I'm not sure, but I think that that's pretty much just a US thing. But if it's not, add it to the comments, because I think it's a US thing, but I don't know.
150 miles away from me growing up, which isn't too far, but I just never really got into professional sports too much. I did watch from time to time, but it wasn't nowhere near how exciting college sports were to me. Garbage disposal. That was really interesting. Can't believe you guys don't have garbage disposals. Spray cheese.
Yeah, you can't believe that we don't have garbage disposal type bits in the sink. But we can't believe that any of your plumbing works after you've flushed all that down your sink.
But overall, I learned a few little things here. This was a really interesting list. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video.
Okay, I think he's pretty much at the end of the video. We've covered some pretty weird things there. The football, yeah, I think that he's right. The fact that it's so far from one sports ground to another in the US, whereas, you run about an hour at the most between football clubs in the UK. The US, you're going to be driving for a day to get from one to another. So I can easily see why that would be promoted and why it would be used as almost not like, well, maybe as a stopgap. Stopgap might be a UK expression, so I'm trying to think of a way to explain it. You can't go up to the main games, so they have a smaller version for you to go to, but then that smaller version takes on a life of its own and becomes more popular and bigger than the one that it was supposed to be kind of filling the gap for. I think that maybe that sort of happened, but I'm just guessing. The cups, we just use cheap cups, whatever you can throw away. There isn't going to be a smashed glass at the end of the night. Something plastic, which I know is all wrong and bad, but that's what people would use if you're going to have a barbecue. You'd collect them and take them back, probably. Yeah, you can get a lot of plastic cups where they're not disposable. You can you keep hold of them, keep reusing them. But people using your red cups and then taking them off, visitors taking them back as a souvenir. I didn't even know that the red cup was such a thing in the US. I know that we see them a lot on TV and stuff, but I thought it's just because it was just the cheapest brand that you sell, not that it was some sort of national icon. So apologies for that. But yeah, I think there's some weird differences between all of our countries, but I think it just seems weird to other people. When you've grown up with it, or if it's stuff that you've always done and always been exposed to, then I think that you just accept it as the norm. And you don't really have a reason to question it until, well, now. But it would be interesting to know if the UK is pretty much representative with the different things that I've said as the other countries around Europe. Because I don't know how we compare to, say, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, Belgium, France, Spain, with the way that we treat sports and all of the other stuff. I always thought that you were pretty much the same as us. But I might just be making a really big assumption there, so it would be interesting if you add to the comments what's what. You can tell that I've still got a bit of a cold because some snotball wasn't taking measures to make sure that they're not spreading their germs around last time I was at one of the local shops. So my voice is still a little bit croaky, but hopefully you've still been able to understand me. And I hope that you've enjoyed the video. Also, the driving videos that are in the left side of the left lower side of the screen, they're all taken from our main channel, so if you do see something you like and you want to see the actual proper video for it, if you just go to our channel and scroll through the driving tour videos, and you should come across it, or type it in the search box. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next upload.